A quick message here. This is my submission to the GMTK 2025 Game Jam, and I hope you all can try it out and rate it. The link is in the description page. A new video will come out soon on the making of it. Much love and thank you all. So, I participated in my first Game Jam ever, which is Kenney Jam, hosted by Kenney and Kay Loosberg. The theme for this year's Kenney Jam is Power. This is a 48 hours game jam in which developers can only create a game using only game assets made by Kenney or K-Kit. So here are the rules. Only Kenney and K-Kit game assets. No basic primitives are allowed, such as cubes, spheres, and cylinders. Any assets like models and textures that come with the game engine are not allowed. Custom animations, materials, shaders, VFX, and particles are allowed, but the texture should be sourced from the assets by Kenney or K-Kit. After understanding all the rules, I started by feeding all the information to my best friend to get some game ideas. And in all of the ideas it provided, one catches my attention. The game is a top-down game where players roleplay as a little electric car and they have limited power to reach to the next charging pad. I changed it slightly, so now players roleplay as a Roomba, and their aim is to clean the room before their power runs out, and there will be charging stations where players can recharge their power. Before proceeding further, of course, I also asked my friend for some names for the game, and I think Power Sweep suits the best. With that, it's time to start the project. So I started off creating the player, which is the Roomba, by following my best friend's instructions. For now, the player is just a simple cylinder, but no worries, it will be changed later. Then I created the player controller, and when I say create, I mean this. With that working, I proceeded with a power draining system using a slider that will slowly drain off when the player is idle, and it drains even faster if the player is moving. Our player is basically done, and now I need to create the dirt and a manager class to keep track of how much dirt the player has cleaned. I also made the dirt spawns randomly inside a specified range, so it will be randomized each time the player plays the game. Before proceeding further, I imported a K-Kit furniture pack into the game and changed the player model to a pillow. Yes, a pillow. You heard it right. Why did I choose a pillow? I have no idea either. Anyways, I then created charging stations where players can recharge their power when they stay inside of the station, and changed the models for dirt and charging stations. I also added in so that there will be charging stations and batteries around the map. The difference is that a charging station can recharge a player's power for a period of time before cooling down, while the battery will instantly recharge an amount of power, and it is a one-time use item. Now, the charging station will turn red while cooling down and turn back to green color when available for charging again. I spent some time changing the UI for the power slider using Kenney's Space Expansion UI pack since I can't use any of the built-in assets. With that, the overall game mechanism is done, and now all that's left is level design. I found a furniture kit from Kenney which perfectly fits the theme, so I imported it into the game and started designing the level. While testing out the level, I noticed an issue where the dirt and battery might get spawned inside the furniture, so I fixed that by using physics.overlapBox to check if they are being spawned inside an object. If so, it will try to spawn again somewhere else until it finds a valid place. Then, I noticed a bowl from a package that I imported from a K-Kit restaurant pack, and I instantly had an idea. Boom, now we have something that looks like a Roomba. Sometimes I feel like I'm a genius because who else will think that a bowl can become a Roomba other than me? Alright, jokes aside, but I think the FOV should be adjustable since sometimes the player's view is kind of limited, so I added camera adjustment using mouse scroll to zoom in, zoom out. But with this new mechanism, I noticed something. There is something like a shadow being casted on the floor, and at first I was doubting it was the camera casting shadow. My friend suggested it was the Roomba model casting the shadow, since he says that the camera won't cast any shadow. So I tried disabling the bowl mesh, but the shadow is still there. I was going back and forth trying to fix this issue and finally found the root cause, which is the camera far clipping planes being set too close. I increased the far clipping planes, and that instantly fixed the issue that stuck me for around 30 minutes. I continued filling up the level with more furniture before proceeding with the main menu UI and setting UI. After that is done, I added an endgame UI whenever the player wins or loses the game with the help of Kenney Cursor Pack and also some sound effects from freesound.org whenever the player cleans the dirt and collects the battery. I also added time and score, so the faster the player completes the level, the higher their score is. Finally, I created a BGM song for the game using an AI music generator before calling it a day. Here is the result from the first day. I started my day off by creating the settings functionality and also the pause menu. I also added a world space canvas to show the status of the charging stations. Then I duplicated the first level, and from there I designed the second level, the living room. This level is very huge, as it is 4 times the size of the first level, so even though it is called the living room, I still populate the level with a bathroom, a dining area, and living room. I noticed when the player keeps colliding with the wall, they will jitter and clip through the wall and fall off the map, which breaks the game. So I fixed that bug by using a physics material to set the friction and bounciness to 0 and assign the material to the Roomba and the wall colliders. Then I created an arrow canvas which will always point towards the closest dirt, as sometimes the dirt is being spawned under furniture, which makes it very difficult to notice. This is done by calculating the direction of the dirt from the player and rotating the arrow to point at the dirt. Since there is plenty of time left, I decided to add in a new power-up, which will increase the player's movement speed for a period of time. Since the new power-up looks the same as the battery, I added a glow particle effect to differentiate between battery and speed power-up. I still feel that 2 levels are not enough, so I added one more level, which is the kitchen. I then decided to add the name of the level at the endgame UI, but this happened. After looking at the code, I think I know why that is happening. Well, I don't usually do that because that is hard coding and hard coding is not good, but due to time constraints, if it works, it works. Lastly, I added in a resolution and frame rate setting to the settings page before building the game out for testing. Finally, I set up the itch.io page and submitted the game to the Game Jam. So yeah, this is how it went for my first participation in a game jam. If you guys would like to give it a try, you can find the link to the game in my description. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace!